welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa and I am the Youthful Mama. Today I want to talk about how to get a flawless complexion for your makeup, and I'm going to demonstrate that using my absolute favourite foundation. You guys know I love Laura Mercier Silk Cream Moisturizing Photo Edition Foundation. It is a mouthful. They could have made it a shorter name, but it is just such a beautiful foundation. It honestly looks like real skin, only better. Here it is here. This has been my favourite now for about a year, I'd say, and my shade is Cashew Beige. For those of you who have my skin tone, which is kind of a medium / tan warm tone with yellow undertone, I will also tell you the colours of the other foundations that I love to use when I review those, just so if you're looking for a colour that is, if my shade is similar to yours, then you know exactly what kind of foundation to buy. I often do that when I'm buying foundation. I will search YouTube for a beauty guru who has similar skin colour to me, and I'll go off what they use, and it's never failed me. It like always works, but it was hard at first to try and find someone who had the exact same colour skin as I did, and I ended up finding an Indian lady who did, so it was awesome. Perfect skin colour. So anyway, I'm going to demonstrate how this looks. Now I'm going to do this two different ways. On one side of my face, on the right, I'm going to use nothing but the foundation, just so you guys can get an idea of how amazing this product is. And on the other side of my face, I'm going to, my hair looks so dry. On the other side of my face, on the left, I'm going to mix it in with my favourite Cover FX Enhanced Drops. Now this is in the shade Sunlight. I'm going to use my favourite primer, which again is Laura Mercier's Radiant powder. You guys have seen me use this before. Absolutely love it. Moving on, I'm going to use a setting powder with Laura Mercier again, and this is the translucent powder, which you guys have probably seen 1,000 times on YouTube. This is the Laura Mercier highlighter, Candleglow highlighter and concealer, and it's just a pen form. However, the tip of it is not supposed to look like this. It's actually supposed to have a sponge, like the Maybelline Age Rewind, Instant Age Rewind. See how it's like a little sponge? That is so dirty. So it's supposed to have that, but it's just a known fact, unfortunately, with Laura Mercier, that this is just a downfall. It's just a negative in this product. It's an amazing product. It looks so real and natural on the skin. It looks like real skin. It's an amazing concealer. It's one of my favourite. However, the application has a fault, and that is it just comes off. It's actually in the lid. It's stuck inside. So yeah, let's get into the face, the base, and I'll show you how I get a flawless complexion, and then I will finish the rest of my face and we'll come back and have a talk about it. I am going to prime my face using the Laura Mercier Radiant Primer. You guys know this is my favourite, and I'm going to do it just on the outside of my face, and I'm going to avoid doing the nose area, just because I find that that's where I get the most oil. So we'll do a little bit on my cheeks. I don't know if you guys can see that really subtle glow that the primer gives, so I'll just zoom in a little tiny bit. It's really subtle, and it's so beautiful that you could literally just leave the house like this. I could easily just do this, put some lip gloss and walk out the door. It just looks so nice and youthful and radiant. I suppose that's why it's called Radiant. Now around my nose, I'm going to use Bobbi Brown. So I just purchased this probably about a month ago, and it is the Bobbi Brown Skin Smoothing Pore Perfector. I don't need a ridiculously mattifying primer around my nose, but I do get a little tiny bit shiny just here, like not on my nose but just around, like more on my cheek, and that's where the shine comes from when I sweat. And while I'm here, I may as well put some on my nose since I haven't put anything else on my nose. And just whatever excess is on my fingertip, I'll just put on my Cupid's bow. But it tends to be just around here that's all shiny and oily. Okay, moving on to the foundation. Okay, so let that settle for a minute or two, soak into the skin. I hope this is not too bright for you. I'm having problems with the lighting today because it was sunny and beautiful, and I thought, oh great, I'll film right in front of the window, and then it got cloudy and overcast and it's dark and horrible and it's like from a horror movie. And then all of a sudden the sun came back again. So the day is having its moods. It's having like several moods in one day. Alright, so I've let that soak in for about a minute. Maybe I rushed it, but it doesn't matter. It's still going to look just as good. So we're going in now with my favourite foundation, Laura Mercier's Silk Cream Moisturizing Photo Edition Foundation, and in the colour Cashew Beige, and it just comes out like that in a little tube, no little pump or anything. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that on the right hand side as it is. I might brighten the screen again. Oh dear, this weather is crazy. Put a little bit here. If I need more, I can always put more on. And then I'm just going to get a beauty blender. And I did just use this a minute ago because I stuffed up. So it is a bit dirty. It doesn't matter. I'm going to just push that into my skin. I absolutely love doing this. It's so therapeutic. People don't realise how therapeutic it is to apply makeup. Just to watch your blemishes and your little freckles and your dark circles disappear and little red patches. Just feels good. Okay. You know, I use the Real Technique sponge all the time. And I use the Beauty Blender, and everyone's like, oh, don't buy the Beauty Blender, it's expensive and it's not that good. You can just get the same results from the Real Techniques sponge. Well, I can say I bought the Real Techniques sponge first, and then I bought the Beauty Blender, and I actually do like the Beauty Blender better than the Real Techniques. I feel like the Real Techniques one is just too fat and spongy. Not sure if I can hear crying. My little one is asleep, but it's okay, I have help. So I don't need to attend to him if he wakes up. Okay, so I could build it up. It's not a full coverage foundation. I'd say it's more of a light to medium coverage, but if you do want to build it up, you can. I'll build it up a little bit just here where I've got pigments, just so you guys can see exactly how it looks. I want to make sure that you can see it well on the camera. I do go pretty close up to my eyes, and the reason why is because I find foundation under my eyes looks better than concealer. So I only put a tiny bit of concealer. I don't go crazy like most YouTubers. Most YouTubers are really young, and so they cake on their concealer and then they bake it. I don't bake and I don't cake it on. It just looks terrible. I end up looking older. This is not old granny mama YouTube page. It's a Youthful Mama page. Okay, so this is the right hand side. And I'll move on to the left side. For the left, I'm going to put my foundation on the back of my hand. And I'm probably going to need more than that. Then I'm going to use the Sunlight shade in the Cover FX Enhanced Drop. And I'm going to put, I'll put a generous amount just so you guys can see. I'll put 3 drops. And I'll put a little bit more foundation just because I think I've got more highlighter than I do foundation. But this highlighter just kind of goes perfect with this foundation. Just gives you that really radiant, youthful, glowing look. And the glowing look is my favourite. So I've just put it on the back of my hand here. And I'm just going to blend it. Oh, seeing my fingers in the camera has just reminded me of something I wanted to tell you guys. I just got the Gelish LED light. And I bought a whole bunch of colours to do my nails from home because I was thinking about how much money I waste, you know, getting my nails professionally done. I don't have long nails, they're my own natural nails, they're pretty short, but oh, what a waste of money. Years and years and years I spent. So now I have my own light and my own gel nails, and I'll do a full review on the products. So yeah, just pushing that into my skin. God, I love this stuff. I love the enhanced drops. It's like my favourite product. If I had a list of products that I can't live without, this would be one of them. Like foundation, I suppose I could live without, but the highlighter is just like, it's gold. It's such a good product. Just makes everything look good. You can have like a cheap foundation and still use the Cover Enhanced drops and look amazing. Like that's how good it is. It just makes every foundation look amazing. You see how my skin looks natural? It looks like my skin, only it looks much nicer than my skin. Oh, I love it. So beautiful. So I'll go ahead and set the rest of my face. Now I'm going to go ahead and start concealing. As I said before, the Laura Mercier Candleglow Highlighter and Concealer pen is not my shade. It is shade number 3 because I purchased the wrong colour on Adore Beauty. But I have bought the shade number 2. I just haven't got it yet. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on the back of my hand. And I'm going to mix in another colour that is a little bit similar, but it's a Pro Longwear. It's MAC's Pro Longwear Concealer. It is slightly lighter. And I'm just going to blend those two on the back of my hand. So that should lighten up the Laura Mercier. I wouldn't do this with any concealer, but MAC's Pro Longwear is like one of the best. And I'm just going to put that where it's slightly pigmented. It's funny, I don't really sleep a lot, in my opinion, but somehow I don't really have bad, like, bags under my eyes. I do not know how that is even possible. I'm always tired. That's what happens when you have a baby and you're breastfeeding and you're co-sleeping. Okay. So I'm just going to dab that on with a finger and then go over the top with a beauty blender. And I could use a eyelid primer for my eyes, but I really just want to show you guys how to get a flawless complexion. So I'm actually going to use a little bit of this concealer that's left on my hand. To set, I'm going to use Laura Mercier's translucent setting powder. I love loose powder, and I'm going to use a Real Techniques brush, and it is called the setting brush. So what I do is I put a little bit and then I tap it off because I'm not baking, and I just kind of put a little tiny bit, especially around this part here. Remember I told you how shiny it gets? That's where I really want to put the powder. That is like the most important. I'm going to put a little bit on my eyelid to set the concealer that I put there. And then I'm going to do the other side. To set the rest of my face, I'm not going to use Laura Mercier. I only use that under my eyes and where I conceal. To set the rest of my face, I'm going to use a little powder puff, I think that's what they're called, in the Lancome. It's called Absolute Sublime Radiance Smoothing Loose Powder, and it is in the shade number 2. 2 is apricot, and I think in America it's peach, which is pronounced pesh, and then in Australia number 1 is, I believe, rose, which is obviously pink for paler skin and pink undertones, whereas I have a yellow undertone. So just going to put a little bit on that, and then I'm just going to press that into my skin just to set my foundation. And then I'm going to go in with the bronzers and the blush and finish that off with a highlighter. So this is all the steps I would literally do to get that flawless look. It isn't my everyday makeup routine. It is kind of going one step further. But this is what I would do if I wanted flawless makeup. And now I'm going to put a little bit of colour back into my face. So we have like a blank kind of canvas now, and I'm going to move on and contour a little bit and put some blush. So I have another Laura Mercier product just here, and this is in the shade number 3. It is a matte Radiance baked powder, and I'm going to use that as a bronzer. Not a crazy bronzer, not too dark, but it just has a really beautiful radiant finish, and it goes perfect with the look that we're going with today. So I'm just going to put a little bit of colour into my face. I automatically feel so rushed now that I know Roman is awake. It's like my body's trying to tell me he's going to need me in a few minutes, so I've got to hurry. Like I put pressure on myself. I'm like, oh my god, I need to feed him. Even though I can feed him and then continue filming, I still feel stressed, like I'm under pressure and I've got to hurry up now. I'm going to use a MAC's Gold Deposit. It's a mineralized skin finish, and it's not your typical highlighter, but I'm going to use it as one, something different. So that's what it looks like. Look how nice and gold that is. And I'm using a Sigma tapered highlighting brush, and it is the F35 Sigma brush. Yep, Roman's crying. He needs me. Hate those little baby flyaway hairs. Blame my mum for that. Sorry mum, but you have those little hairs and I have those little hairs, and it is so annoying. I know a lot of people shave them, but I usually do laser hair removal and I just haven't done it in a while. I like to go around my face with laser hair removal. It's just so neat. It's amazing. And you don't need to maintain anything for ages. Okay, got some colour back in my face again. Looking alive. I hope it's not weird that I'm not looking at the camera all the time. It's just that my mirror is attached to my ring light, which is directly behind, and so I'm always like glancing up. Actually, I need to move the mirror a little tiny little bit. That's too far. Oh, that's too low. Damn, can't get it right. Okay, that's better. Okay, so looking good. I'm liking this look. So flawless. Love it. So for blush, I have two favorites. I have MAC Gingerly. So this is the one here. And then I have Becca Wild Honey. And that's it there. So these are my two go-to blush. I don't really like the really rosy type blushes. They're just not my cup of tea. I'm going to go with MAC today. Now I am going to just finish the rest of my look and then come back, so I won't be long. Now to complete my flawless base, I'm going to use a dewy finishing spray by NYX, and I'm going to use that on the outer part of my face just to avoid my T-zone where I get oily and sweaty. And I usually go in between MAC's Prep and Prime Fix Plus, and I also use the Urban Decay All Nighter, and I'm going to go with this one because I feel like this one's just more heavy duty, and I just the other one's hydrating, the MAC one's hydrating, so I don't really want hydrating around my nose where I get really oily and sweaty through the day. So this is the one I would spray in my T-zone. So that's it, guys. This is the finished look. This is how I get the perfect base. Choose the best foundation, best primer and best powders, and make sure you apply it according to your skin type. When it comes to primers, please read my blog. It's all about how to choose the right primers. You use something that is going to give you radiance and hydration where you're dry, and where you're oily you try and find something that minimizes pores and kind of mattifies. So sometimes you do need to use more than one primer. When it comes to powder, one powder is not always going to work for everyone. So with me, I use the Laura Mercier underneath my eyes, the translucent powder, and wherever I get kind of shiny and oily around the nose. And then for the rest of my face, I use the Lancome Absolute Sublime Radiance powder. It's a loose powder as well, so that kind of gives me that extra glow, makes me look more youthful and radiant again. But yeah, that's what I believe is the perfect base, and that is a radiant, youthful look. I can't imagine how I would look younger and youthful if I went with a really mattifying look. I do see a lot of young girls, I used to work with a lot of young girls who would apply their foundation and their powder, and they would come to work looking extremely dry, and I guess that's because they had pimples, but that's not always the best look. It's not a perfect base. A perfect base to me is skin, or sorry, makeup that looks like skin, only better. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to enhance your own natural beauty, enhance your look. So anyway, I'm going to zoom in. That is what I call a perfect base. Thank you, Laura Mercier and Cover FX Enhanced Drop and MAC. They are just three brands that are amazing on my skin. Anyway, If you guys have any questions, please comment below and I will make sure I answer every single one of them. Also, I will list all the products that I've used today down below with the prices and the links. If you are looking to purchase Laura Mercier products, Mother's Day is just around the corner and I highly recommend you get onto Adore Beauty before they sell out of all the good stuff. They will discontinue selling on June the 30th, so remember that date. That date is important. Otherwise, you are looking at paying extra for shipping if you order from the UK or America. And if you are from overseas, then I can't stress out enough how important this is. You guys have got to get onto this product. It's just the best. Love it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and as usual, please subscribe and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.